Welcome back. Jenny Watkins here. Let me get it set up a little bit easier for you to see. Um, Welcome back. So first, before we get started, I want to say welcome and thank you to all my new followers. I so appreciate your activity, your subscribes, and your willingness to follow me on the creation of these paintings and the lessons that come from showing up at the canvas and showing up to yourself. We are live on my cell phone, and this is so cool because there have been weeks while we have been trying to figure out the technical things, the technicalities, the abilities, and it just came down to it that going live through my cell phone was going to be the best way to do it. And that takes 50 subscribers on a brand new channel and a brand new following. So not only have we reached that, we have surpassed that. So thank you. I am extremely grateful for that. And I'm so excited to get to know you and to hear about you, to see your questions and what you want to hear about, and how these coaching from the canvas videos inspire you. So be sure to share, because I want to grow this even more, so that we can do even more cool things with YouTube. Be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to do all those things so that I know you're here and so that we can engage together. Okay, so today we are back at the Heartwaves paintings for the first time in a few weeks. I had mentioned that I had been traveling, which is great and fine, and life happens. But I want to talk to you today about the lesson of just one mark. Just one mark. Look, my hands are already getting dirty. And this is a lesson I learned from my husband. I'm going to paint a little bit while we're talking. It's a lesson I learned from my husband because he is always doing a million projects, like a million. And not only for here at home, but also at work. And he's an engineer and he has multiple projects going on at work as well. And someone asked him one time, like, how do you do it, Matt Watkins? How do you be the only person in this department at this company and you get all of this done? And his response was that I do just one thing. If nothing else, I do just one thing on every project each day, so that the next day I'm one step forward. I'm one step ahead of where I was before. And it may not look like much, but all of a sudden, over the course of time, you're so much further ahead than you would be if you didn't do anything. And it's just one thing. So I adopted that, thank you, Matt, to painting. And when I was doing the 52 and 52, to just be just one mark every single day gets me further and further to my goal, right? And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's so powerful, because what happens is that some days you do more than one mark. Some days all you can literally do is just one thing. And sometimes it's physically making a mark on the canvas. Sometimes it's setting up your environment, which I know some people discount, but it matters. You still have to pull out the paints. You still have to put on your shoes. You still have to make your project plan, for corporate. You still have to start creating your budget for my corporate leaders. Like, there's things that you just have to do. And if you can break it down into one step, we've all heard that before, break it down into smaller steps, but then make one mark, take one action, do one thing. It adds up to so much. So keep that in mind. The question I have for you today is, how many of you don't follow your own advice? So I teach this in my corporate workshops. I teach this concept on how to accomplish big things and how to create your vision and create what you see in your mind. And I get this vision in my mind, and I want to do so much. I want to show up here and have so much more work done on these than I did the last video, that it really starts snowballing in my head, and it creates a roadblock. It creates a roadblock because I think I should be doing it this way. I should have this much accomplished. I should look better so that it looks better to everybody else. And the reality is that that's just not the way my life works. It's just not. And I have to have a conversation with myself, and I have to remind myself that just one mark adds up again and again and again and again, even when it's not as easy as it was with the 52. Like creating a painting and setting up for a painting and just doing one mark as a painting takes more time because it's paint. It's paint. And then there's the cleanup and there's all this stuff. So I want to spend more time at the canvas. I want to do more than just this. And I have this tendency to be a perfectionist. I have this tendency to just want so much that I just, in the end, don't get started, or I waste time, or fill in the blank to where it just doesn't happen. So today I am back at the canvas at the same place it was at the last video, here to talk to you about making incremental progress and the value of incremental progress and how important it is as you are accomplishing the things that you're called to do, the goals that you want to achieve, and the levels that you want to get to. So give yourself some grace and allow yourself incremental, consistent. That's the other key. Incremental, consistent progress to help you reach your goals. Because some days I will have 4 hours here at the canvas and I will have a transformed piece of canvas. And most days with corporate clients and life and health and everything else, consistency is the key, even if it's just one mark. All right? So tell me what your one mark is. Write it in the comments, share with me help support you, so that we can all make progress together and create a better world for us all, really, because isn't that what all of that's about? Even if it's just a better world for ourselves, our world impacts others, which creates these ripple effects that then ultimately, like a lake, just keep going, and it creates these ripples of happiness that matters to us all. Okay, so let's make some marks. I actually am super excited about this because I've been hearing in my head that I want more depth to this painting. And so let me bring it down a little bit for you. I'm just gonna have to put it on some of these other ones here so that you can see it a little bit easier. So when we were here before, we had some red with our hands, we had some yellow with our hands, and now what I want is some depth. Who here is familiar with Mark Rothko? Rothko. He's a painter that painted in the mid-1900s, 1960s, and he painted these just gorgeous wall-size color blocks, but they weren't just plain color. They were like washes of color upon each other and upon each other and upon each other, and it created this depth of emotion and evocation from the viewer. That's what's running through my head here. And I do that a lot. I paint a lot in color washes. So we're gonna color wash what we've already put on here today. And what I want is a depthness and a richness and a meditative quality to this red. So I've worked up some purple, some dioxazine purple. I'm actually using it straight from the tube this time. I'm not color mixing it because the washes will mix, and that'll give it a really cool iridescent flavor, if you will. So we have that ready to go, and I want it to be super thin, so I am making my brush really wet, and I have a wash set up here already that I've thinned out with just some water, because these are acrylics, they dry fast. I like working quickly. When I was working in oil paints, and while I love oil paints, I needed a little more speed just for my life at the moment. So good quality paints will give you that depth of color while also giving you flexibility. I think that's what it comes down to, is just flexibility. So all I'm going to do is start putting this purple on here so you can see. So let me just do that real quick. And I want to work fast here, and it doesn't necessarily matter the direction of my brush because it's going to be a wash, and you'll see some of it, sure. But look what it starts doing to this red. Like, so here we have the red that we color mixed last time, and now look at this purple, where when you see it, you can see it, but look at it here and how it starts pulling you in even more than right here. And as I'm looking at it from this view versus this, I mean, I like it no matter what, but it's very interesting to see this depth of how it plays between these two sides. So maybe I'll keep it, maybe I won't. So what I'm hearing is paint the whole thing, even though I like this, but I'm going to remember this hand painted depth, and I'm going to use it in another painting at another time. So So look at how much richer this is. And while I'm going to pull it up here to dry a little bit. All right, we'll leave that there. We're gonna leave it to dry. But you can already see, let me lift it up for you. You can already see, you can already see how much richer this is than it was before. And up close, you can still see the yellows. You can still see the marks from my hands, but now it's just a little more complete than it was before. It pulls you in just a little bit more than it did before. So I'm gonna let this dry because I love this color. I love this color. And then we'll come back and work on it. And stay tuned for more. What I've also decided is that in an effort to follow my own advice in just one mark, instead of coming live on Fridays, we'll come live more often and just for quicker, shorter conversations and a lot more just one marks that you can see. And in the meantime, y'all have a great weekend. Stay cool. It's hot as blazes here in Texas. Holy cow. So stay cool, right? Stay hydrated, get in the water. For those of you that are suffering floods and other things, stay dry, good luck. And come back, follow me, again, share, comment. Let's build this community and really support each other as we go forward. Thanks again for following. I'm gonna make some more marks on these other ones down here. I've got this vision of black, but of course not black, like color on color on color on color with the heart wave on it. And then the heart wave has sort of this sonic wave that comes off of it. Almost like a sonic boom, if you will. So it's about time to start putting the gold on this. As a matter of fact, feels like maybe one more color and then we'll start the gold. So I'll see you next time. See you for more, see you for quicker, so it's easier for you to digest. Thanks so much. Bye, y'all.